All right, let's dive right into today's explainer by dropping ourselves straight into the middle of a massive, roaring crowd. Just picture the scene. It is one day before the 2026 World Cup Final. The energy is absolutely electric. The atmosphere is vibrating with anticipation for Spain versus Argentina. And right in the middle of this sea of passionate fans, something truly extraordinary is happening.
750. That is the exact number of couples who decided to say I do at the exact same time in Guadalajara, Mexico. I mean, just think about the sheer scale of that for a second. Hundreds of brides and grooms, thousands of guests, all converging in one single massive celebration of love and sport.
So you might be wondering, why on earth did so many couples decide to tie the knot together at a FIFA fan festival of all places? Well, to understand that, we first need to zoom out and look at a historic, honestly anxiety-inducing clash of passions. For decades, the beautiful game and the big day have been on this crazy collision course.
Which brings us to Section 1, the ultimate scheduling clash, weddings versus the World Cup.
For years, summer weekends have been a fierce, sometimes hilarious battleground between peak wedding season and global soccer tournaments. Get this. According to 2018 survey data from marriages.net and The Knot, a staggering 22% of all marriages that year took place right in the middle of the World Cup. That means more than 2 out of every 10 couples found their highly orchestrated romantic timelines going head-to-head with international football schedules.
Now here's the truly wild part. A whopping 59% of brides-to-be were completely unaware that their big day coincided with the world's biggest sporting event. They booked their dream dates, put down deposits for caterers, mailed out the beautiful invitations, and had absolutely no idea that billions of people worldwide, including, half their guest list, would be entirely focused on a soccer pitch.
This scheduling overlap historically caused, pure panic. Just listen to this quote from a 2018 bride named Lucille. She said, "I'm getting married on June 16 at 3 p.m., and the first game France's team will play is at 12. I can't begin to describe how much stress I'm feeling over this." Brides were terrified of guests arriving late, sneaking away to check scores, or just being totally distracted during their vows. It literally felt like they were competing for their own guests' attention.
Moving on to Section 2, if you can't beat them, embracing the overlap.
Look, moving a booked summer wedding is basically impossible. Actually, scratch that, it is impossible. So couples had to face reality. While 57% of brides feared the matches would completely disrupt their nuptials, a solid 42% realized that if they couldn't beat the World Cup, they might as well join it. They started viewing the overlap as a fortunate coincidence, figuring the massive excitement of a global tournament could actually elevate the energy of their big day.
In fact, 19% of couples leaned in entirely to the football fever. They got super creative to ensure their guests wouldn't sideline the newlyweds for the game. We're talking installing big-screen TVs right at the reception, giving guests radios, setting up soccer-themed decorations and betting games. Some iconic couples even walked down the aisle to the Champions League anthem. They just owned the whole shebang.
But people were still fiercely split on whether the two could actually coexist in perfect harmony. 53% firmly demanded that football take a backseat to the wedding, while 43% believed it would go fine and just make things more fun. The score between traditionalists and football fans was practically tied, leaving everyone wondering how to really solve this clash.
So that brings us to Section 3, why 750 couples said yes, the 2026 Guadalajara solution.
Fast forward back to July 2026, and those 750 couples we talked about, they brilliantly hacked the system. They didn't just accommodate the World Cup at their wedding, they made the World Cup their actual wedding. Instead of stressing out in formal white dresses and tuxedos, these Mexican couples happily rocked their favorite club jerseys and those iconic green national team colors right at the altar.
Just contrast the pure anxiety of that 2018 bride with this amazing sentiment from 2026. One of the newlyweds perfectly explained that the event was a union of their two greatest passions, their love for football and their commitment to their life partners. They proudly waited for the perfect opportunity to merge their life's two biggest loves. For them, getting married amidst the World Cup fever was absolutely a feature, not a bug.
And finally, Section 4, the final whistle, a new wedding playbook.
By turning what used to be a massive logistical nightmare into this huge, unified mega celebration, these 750 couples literally wrote a brand new playbook for modern romance.
Surrounded by cheering crowds and World Cup fervor, they proved once and for all that you absolutely do not have to choose between your spouse and your favorite sport. They created a memory that is intimately personal but shared with the entire world.
It really shows that compromise can honestly be the biggest party of all. By leaning into the overlap, you can transform anxiety into the ultimate celebration. Which leaves us with one very important question for you to ponder. If given the chance to combine your passions like this, would you be willing to share your big day with the World Cup?